Yeah.
So this is hey guys, welcome. So to Lobster Magnum Friends. So this is something I've wanted to do for a while because I've infected Goro and Zavel with Goblin Slayer. They both didn't care about it, but then I told them about how it was becoming a thing and how it was sparking this controversy in the video I did on it. And Zavel, tell me what you thought about what once I showed you that first chapter. And I like how I force you to read things, and this is I was just like, just look at the first chapter. You'll know what you need to see, and then I thought you'd be done with it.
I ended up reading all of it. I just spite read it. I did not understand why this was. Why do people like this? Why does anyone like this? Fuck. Look. Okay. Look. Okay. Look. Fuck. Just fuck. Fuck. Okay. Fuck. Just, look. Okay. If this was just something you'd stumble across on like a sleazy like hentai site, and you're like, okay. Well, I guess clearly some people are getting off because goblin rape. I mean, it's not my thing, but surely this won't spawn an anime, and surely there won't be a fan base trying to defend this shit. I probably just would have like, okay, fine, whatever, it's fine, everything's fine. Just it doesn't exist. Don't think about it. It's fine. I don't care. If that had been the link you'd shown me, I would have been like, look, I don't need you to share your porn tastes with me. It's fine. You do you, but I don't need to see this. But instead, apparently, this is just something people are obsessed about, and I don't fucking suck a dick, guys. I don't fucking understand why this is the hill you choose to die on. And
that's a really dramatic hill to die on.
Yeah, I don't. Why is this your fucking? Why is it this? Why is it this? Why is it fucking this? I don't fucking understand. Why is it this? Why is it this? I'm basically incoherent. Isaac showed me the fucking Reddit page at one point, and it's literally just like, if you ever want to actually see what the fans of this fucking series like, it's violence and tits.
And you can get that from any other hentai, honestly.
Any excuse they give you about like how great this show is, or how deep Goblin Slayer is, or how amazing everything is, no, it's fucking waifus and blood, okay? That's all that fucking matters, okay? And if you could just admit that to yourselves, and you could just admit that to the world, okay, we wouldn't be having this problem. But every time you try and compare Goblin Slayer to Berserk, I die a little inside.
Well, the best part is like,
fuck, that has been building in me for like a month.
That is like insulting. That is like horribly insulting. You should feel bad about yourselves and just, stop reading manga at that point.
You've heard my fucking rant where I got into fucking like
oh, it was great. Sadly,
genocide.
Sadly, I might not be able to like the kid who was like doing videos for me. He was like trying to animate it, but his like computer broke up. I might like be so convinced because I have the audio recorded for it. Maybe I'll share it with you someday. I have like little gnomes for like the sound effects for it, but like sadly when he tried to export it, it like crashed his computer.
Fuck.
So
damn it.
I might pay him just to like redo it.
Wait, you mean the Pixel Hip?
Yeah. I actually like.
Yeah. He did some really. Good
I had an entire fucking rant about like if you gender swap this, like no sane human being would ever follow Goblin Slayer, because it's just like no one would do this. No one would do this. This is not a real.
Give him the rant because we may not get the animation.
Yeah, but it's dark fantasy, you guys. No one would fucking do this. No sane human being would ever fucking do this. You want to know fucking why? Okay, Berserk is dark fantasy. It is terrible and horrible and violent and bloody and sometimes kind of rapey, but it's based off of fucking medieval Europe, and they actually have like stuff you can go back and look at. It's like, look, he got to get his fucking hand cut off. Oh, would you look at that? He has a gun for a hand. That's crazy in anime. No, that actually happened. There was somebody who actually has a fucking gun for a hand, and you can look at the fucking model that is a gun for a fucking hand. It's a thing. Let's take Goblin Slayer for a second. Okay? Let's just take that for a second. Like, okay, clearly no one cares about goblins. Why? They rape and murder everything in their way. Yeah, but I mean, there's this ominous, as of yet unnamed dark presence coming up. Okay, look, let's assume, for the sake of argument, that for whatever reason, ISIS shows up in your backyard. And like, let's say it's 3 states away. You have to deal with that. But first and foremost, There's this giant pack of rabid dogs that keeps mauling people in your neighborhood. Which of these things do you take care of first?
The dogs
Would it be
that
the
are
pack
mauling?
of rabid dogs that keeps mauling everyone in the fucking area, and you can't go outside or get food because every time you do, you're worried about a 50 or 60 angry mongrels just eating your fucking face? Oh yeah, right, it would be the fucking dogs. It would be the fucking dogs because you can't go off and fight the large organization of horrible shit coming your way with any certainty, while also leaving behind all your old people, your children, and all of your non-combatants to be mauled to death, or in this case, raped to death. Also, while we're at it, the fucking guild is terrible. It's fucking terrible. Look, there is an actual, like, real world case of whisper networks of women just going, like, every time, like, somebody gets hired, it's like, oh, hey, great to have you on. By the way, don't trust Jeremy in accounting. When he gets a couple drinks in him during, like, company outings, he gets really gropey, and you just don't want to be around him anymore. Okay,
What are you referring to?
It's basically called, like, the missing step or the missing stare. So basically, like, women will tell other women about the fact that there are some guys you probably shouldn't hang around if you don't want shit to happen to you.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's a thing that people do because we're social animals and we don't want to see bad shit happen to you. And if you're stuck in a situation where there's really not much you can do aside from warn other people that maybe you shouldn't be hanging around with that guy because he's kind of fucking rapey, and you do that. And so this guild, with the person at the front desk handing out the assignments that is another woman, it's like, what's that? You're a level 1 adventurer? What's that? You were going to go after a bunch of goblins? Wait, how many women are in your party? You're seriously telling me this woman wouldn't just, like, quietly, like, okay, look, I understand you want to, like, do the thing and win the points and everything, level up, get more money. You don't want to go anywhere near goblins. But why, you ask? They rape everything. They just rape everything, just all the time. That's all they do is murder and rape. Maybe you want to go after some, like, wargs, or I mean, we've been having some problems with, like, dire rats and stuff. Don't go anywhere near them. They rape everything.
Yeah, that is, like, one of the biggest discrepancies, that it basically runs on this sort of, like, MMO video game light story world logic, but, like, you know, but then when the goblins appear, it's like, oh, it's like dark fantasy, but yet the world goes back to being MMO light fantasy.
Yeah.
Like,
and also, you're seriously telling me that nobody, like, just talks about the fact that every single fucking goblin is basically just a rape machine? No one? It's like, I feel like that would be, like, the first thing every female adventurer tells any other female adventurer is, like, oh, by the way, don't go anywhere near goblins. They will rape everything. Anything. That is literally all they exist to do, is rape things.
yeah, and it's not like a secret. Everyone seems to know this. Isn't Goblin Slayer? It happens
And so,
every
like,
day.
what? Like, so this isn't victim blaming, but, like, in this world, why the fuck would you go anywhere near goblins if you had a uterus? It makes no sense.
You know what the main... I think was the biggest problem with this anime? That this is not a hentai. I think there's a big problem. It is not a hentai. This whole plot would make much more sense if there was actual hentai sex in this story. But there's none. Absolutely
I mean, you're
not.
basically right.
And
This is basically just tentacle rape, but with goblins instead of tentacles.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, but the main protagonist doesn't have sex with his, you know, his whole harem party or anything like that.
Oh, yeah,
and
and
just throw in, like, this horrible rape, this tentacle, like,
And that's something
rape
else I
thing.
want to get into. Who the everyone's like, Goblin Slayer's so cool and deep and tragic. No, he's actually a terrible person. He's a bad fucking person. His entire fucking shtick is, my family died. They were murdered and also murdered and then raped or murdered. One of, like, any combination of those things. And his immediate response every fucking time is like, okay, we're gonna go kill a bunch of goblins. Okay.
Yeah. Death. It's like
I'm gonna
he's
take all
completely
of these
boring.
women into a dungeon to kill a bunch of goblins. Wait, you mean you're gonna take a bunch of people who might be raped and murdered into the dungeon with you? Yeah, why? I like killing goblins. You're gonna take a bunch of people that might meet the same fate that traumatized you so bad that you've devoted your entire life to murdering goblins? Yeah, I like murdering goblins. What is wrong with you? And then the fucking
How
harem?
does he like? It makes absolutely no sense how he's able to attract a harem on top of this.
I don't know. Like who goes into the dungeon knowing this? Like who does that?
This is
And
like
then there's like
this is the most unbelievable bullshit I've ever seen in anime. And it should be a fucking hentai. It's because it makes no sense. Like how he's able to attract these women if all he does is like, I want to slay goblins. Are the women attracted to his want of slaying goblins? They don't even show his fucking face. He never shows his fucking face.
It's his hyper competency.
He doesn't give physical touch. He doesn't smile at them because his face is covered in the mask. He's like a fucking stone. He's like a fucking stone wall looking at them. That's saying a stone wall is looking at them and saying, "I love slaying goblins." And
but Goblin Slayer son, don't you like me? I like murdering things. And just let's gender swap that for a second. Let's just do that, just for a second. This was part of the fucking rant I shared with Isaac. Let's fucking do that. Let's assume that gnomes are a problem. That you have problems with gnomes in your world. And all gnomes fucking love doing more than anything else in the entire universe is castrating dudes with knives. That's all they do 24/7, all day, every day, is they just like cut dudes' nuts off. Okay? That's all they fucking do. Okay? And in this world is this woman named Gnome Slayer. She has this tragic backstory where she like, oh no, her father and brothers were like castrated and murdered before her eyes. It's terrible. And she's like, oh, but she's theoretically so pretty. I just want to like follow her around. And like you get into the dungeon and you like the gnomes like swarm you and they like rip your pants off and they're about to like cut your nuts off. And then like this woman just comes up and just stabs all of them just over and over again. And you're like, wow, thanks, Gnome Slayer son. And she's like, yeah, okay, great. I'm gonna go kill more gnomes. Do you ever go back? Do you ever go into another dungeon with them? Also, let's just get to the point where it's like they just like they didn't tell you that this might be a fucking problem. Like no one mentioned this, or just like why are you still interested? She has no personality. She doesn't care about you. She doesn't care that you almost got your nuts cut off. She's willing to drag you into another dungeon where you also might get your fucking nuts cut off. This is a terrible fucking idea.
So I'm sure there should be a little bit. I mean, we can definitely make it like super appropriately gender swapped completely. Like,
oh yeah,
you can have like the guys just love all the guys have like sexy designs.
Oh no, it has to be. It's specifically not only do they go in dungeons where they might get their nuts cut off,
and the
by
guys
a bunch of
bathe
gnomes
with each other, you know, to talk
also,
about.
Specifically, they also have to wear extra tight pants that emphasize the fact that they're not wearing underwear and totally just have like their nuts just like pressed up against the like leather pants.
And they completely
that's what a normal human being would do when going off to fight a bunch of things that are just about to like cut your fucking nuts off every chance they get.
And they completely turned off by like women who show their faces, you know. and they're like, oh, you know, this woman's so cocky. I hate that. I hate her.
It's just fucking terrible. It's fucking awful. I fucking hate this show.
This one guy who commented on Lobster's video, he was like, he's essentially a Gary Stu. Goblin Slayer is like a Gary Stu.
Well, no fucking shit.
Yeah.
That's his only fucking purpose.
It's like self-insertion, you know.
Yeah, it's basically self-insertion. You get to you basically want to feel like a total badass and have a harem anime and also see women's tits. But I guess you have rape fantasies, like unresolved rape fantasies, but I don't fucking it's awful. It's fucking awful.
You know what?
Again, it's
because his harem doesn't his harem doesn't feel earned. His party members don't feel earned. If he was like just by himself, maybe this would make more sense. Like a little bit more sense.
Yeah.
I think the best part is like people on the videos were commenting, were like defending. Coming up with names is hard.
Coming up with names is hard. And fuck motherfucking nameless bullshit, okay? Fucking like cowgirl. I can't like take anybody seriously.
If this was a morality show, if this was a fucking morality play, I might give it to you. But fuck, guys, come on. This is not a morality play. This is just terrible hackneyed shit.
Yeah.
And also, if you want to really get into that like dark fantasy shit, you know, you really want to know where like Berserk like kind of earns its dark fantasy chops? Casca gets raped, and it traumatizes the shit out of her. She basically goes nonverbal for like chapters upon chapters. She is like broken. She's not okay.
Well,
she like sees terrible shit, and it has like an emotional impact. So does Guts. He sees terrible shit, and he's just a broken person.
Well, don't forget about the fact that like early in the manga, you know, this has never been seen in any of the adaptations, but you know, Guts gets raped or because of you know, he gets sold, and that affects him, you know, tremendously.
Yes, it's like
the thing about Berserk, they all have emotional range as characters. Like Goblin Slayer has one range, and his range is goblin slaying. Guts has like you know, happy, sad Guts, angry Guts. You know, you can relate to the character better. But Goblin Slayer, he has one fucking note in his music right now.
Just
and
a
fucking
chicken pita sandwich.
Goblin slaying, and he somehow makes friends like that. He makes a harem and friends, and I don't understand that.
Yeah,
I don't know, another 5-10 minutes. It's almost done.
Bad. It's just bad.
Yes. What completely breaks it for me is like it's like there are multiple characters in this series who like get that close to being raped, which should be enough to like really fuck somebody up. At least, at the very least, short term, just fuck somebody up. Long term, probably have some kind of psychological impact too. Like, but there should be like some kind of like problem or emotional damage or something to indicate that this is a problem. This is not okay if you want to have your characters have emotional depth and really hit that dark fantasy stride.
Yeah.
It does not. It's like the elf is like has her like clothes ripped off and they're like touching all over her and all this shit is happening.
This is why I think
it's basically like porn at this point. And like, okay, if this is a dark fantasy, this is the point where it just like fucks you up inside. And like, I think you do not want to do this shit. Like, for obvious reasons. Like, at the very least, you definitely don't want to go adventuring anymore, or like have some serious questions or problems, or have some serious shit to get over. But instead, it's like the next. Yeah,
it has the emotional range of a hentai without it being a hentai.
Like, come on, it basically just like straddles that line so hard as dry
so
humping.
Frustrating. That's so frustrating. Why is it? Why does it have the emotional range of a hentai, but not actually be a hentai?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if it just was, and it was just like, okay, look, it's terrible fucking porn. Get your rocks off, but don't pretend it's anything important.
Women would actually have a reason to like Goblin Slayer because he gives really good sex. He gets really good blood. It's like, you know, that's a legitimate reason to like Goblin Slayer. Like, and then all the women learn about it, and then they're like, oh my god, we should. Oh, I love Goblin Slayer now. You know,
I'm willing to get raped for him.
That would make for a better story than what
take that out of fucking context. Jesus Christ! It's like, again. Why is this the fucking hill you die on, guys? Why is this the hill you want to fucking die on?
Well, for me to add in my rant, and I guess what I find like kind of offensive and annoying about it is that, like, you know, we all love manga and anime, right? And the reason why we like it is because, you know, you like animation, you like comics, and you like genre stories. And Japan, it, you know, hasn't been as stigmatized as it kind of is in America. So there's a greater variety of stuff. There's a wider variety of stuff that scratches that itch, and some of it's amazing. And when it's great, when shonen's at its best, it's Harry Potter on steroids. It's the MCU on steroids. When you're getting more introspective, deep stuff, it's fantastic. It's emotional. It feels like it's like a higher level than what you get traditionally in American things. And then you see the sort of like neckbeard aspects of the culture, and then you just sort of feel ashamed, and then you see like, oh Jesus Christ, this is why they mock people with body pillows on SNL or 30 Rock.
You remember when fucking Otaku no Video just like slammed people that would probably like watch and enjoy this shit, and it was funny, and they felt ashamed about it? Remember that? Because that was good.
Yeah,
I liked that.
Yeah,
I miss that, and now it's just fuck, I don't fucking know.
It pisses me off too. Like, the Drifters anime came out. That was better put together. I'd say it's like significantly better than Hellsing. And like that seemed to have like no cultural impact whatsoever. Like none of the fan base of Hellsing like clammed onto that. And it's like, why aren't you jumping on that ship? This is like this, but like, a million times better. It has better characters. It is better historical crap. The fantasy setting.
Walter doesn't randomly turn into a villain and just start killing people.
Don't ignore.
It doesn't
can't
have
ignore the.
It doesn't have the Nazi cat boy.
What?
Remember the Nazi cat boy in Hellsing?
Schrodinger.
Yeah.
Oh,
Fucking Schrodinger, which was like their answer to Alucard, because it's like I don't know how else to like get rid of him or do something that would challenge him. I guess he just has to be the fucking cat boy. It's sad when Hellsing Abridged comes up with a better reason why Walter would betray the Hellsing organization.
Oh, did they? I haven't like seen a lot of it. I saw the early episodes.
Yeah. It's basically just like Alucard haranguing Walter about him wanting to basically like you just wanted to fuck me, and I never fucked you. You never fucked me. You just want to like, oh, Walter's son, but I would never do it. But it's specifically because he has like that weird like lowly girl form that he turns into.
Yeah.
It basically just turns back into that and starts like just like hounding his shit over that. Like, this is why you're doing this, isn't it? This is what this is about. This is what it's all about. Is I wouldn't fuck you.
Yeah.
Well, fucking get over it.
That's actually pretty funny. Like the Drifters, that's a dark fantasy. It's a generic fantasy world, but you got the historical things that make it like a little bit more interesting. I just annoyed that like this thing is so beloved. Like we've given Promised Neverland like a lot of shit, but like I'd say like,
oh Jesus Christ, this is like 100, like 1,000 times worse than Promised Neverland. Fuck.
Which
like,
one?
I heard. No,
which is Promised Neverland in general.
Yeah, but I harangue Promised Neverland
Goblin
because that
Slayer.
actually.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna say I harangue Promised Neverland, and I bitch about Promised Neverland because Promised Neverland had like serious potential. It could have been amazing, and it just kind of fallen short in some ways, and I'm a little disappointed. But holy fuck! It's like if you're gonna compare the two, sweet fucking Jesus, Promised Neverland should basically have just like been showered with awards and money. That guy should not be able to go out on this fucking street without someone like handing him like a miniature statue and a plaque, and then just throwing fucking yen at him.
Versus like the Promised Neverland
like,
Reddit.
You have a fucking I was gonna say you have a fucking problem when fucking the fucking creator of Goblin Slayer like will not show his face in a fucking interview, wears a fucking Deadpool mask, because even he knows deep down inside he should probably be fucking ashamed of himself.
Like, I feel bad for him, honestly. He just wrote some like really bad like self-insertion story that people really just like took like in a mind of its own. Really, just like the whole thing took a mind of its own.
I guess
all the guys that really like it are probably just like, oh yeah, I really like this story because that could be me. That could be me because I really like to do one thing and one thing only too. And I think
jerk off, but
yeah, I think women would really like that. Yeah, I think I could get my own harem too.
Fuck. Shit.
That's the point of Gary Stu, right? I can insert myself in it, right?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
I could be in that hair.
He's basically a self-insertion character. Ugh.
All right.
Yeah, so I think that was cathartic. I
And
needed
it
that.
makes it
covers it.
easier because he doesn't really have a personality. So you can insert your own personality into Goblin Slayer. And then that, you know, in a way is like your metamorphosis.
So as we wrap things up, one last thing, just so I'll let you all know, we didn't judge it on one episode. I've read the entire manga.
I watched like 6 episodes of the anime.
Zavel
This
had
is
read
my
it,
final
So
conclusion.
we've seen enough of it to make an articulated opinion. And Goro, tell
I
them
mean, most of that opinion was Jesus fucking Christ, pick another fucking hill.
and Goro, what made you give up the anime? What made you finally decide that this was like not worth time or not worth watching, even hate watching?
Well, you know, it just the goblin slaying. The second was the third goblin slaying story arc was just
the
like
rape boat.
yeah, the rape boat, which was just like it was so like it got like oh I know what's gonna happen now, like he's gonna kill.
Oh look, goblins are going to show up. They're going to
Yeah.
try and rape things, and Goblin Slayer's going to kill them.
Yeah,
Again.
it's like they're generic goblins, and he's killing them, and all these women are still fawning over him. That's the repetitive pattern. And then you know, after the story arc, you know, after it ends, you see Cleric Girl, who I thought was like a little bit more like reasonable. She was like a little bit more didn't have like sexual feelings for Goblin Slayer. She's like thinking about Goblin Slayer while she's bathing nude in this steam bath or whatever. And then all of a sudden, blindfold Justice Lady comes in naked and she's like, "May I join you for this bath?" And I'm thinking to myself, they're probably going to be talking about Goblin Slayer, aren't they? While they're bathing. And I turned it off and I closed it and I haven't watched it since. And I'm just like, this is so fucking stupid. Goblin Slayer, no personality. That's the personality of Goblin Slayer. Just write I slay goblins on that wall, and girls are falling for that wall right now. It's ludicrous. I can't accept that people like this. This is bad. And
You should feel
wall
bad.
isn't even having sex with these women. There's like not even a dildo attached to this wall. Otherwise, I could reasonably see women loving this wall.
Maybe that's what that should be our new term for like the insert Gary Stu with no personality.
Dildo wall?
The fuck wall.
I like that. I wish that could become
As
a
far
meme.
as I know, Goblin Slayer doesn't really have a dick. I think he's completely shows no interest in the women that he's with, and he's just like completely, you know, asexual. I love killing goblins. Or,
Yeah, like I said-
I want to kill goblins.
Yeah, like I told Isaac at one point, I'm pretty sure if there just weren't any more goblins in the world, he would just slowly starve to death. He's a fucking broken wind-up toy. He would just stare at a wall and just sit there, not doing anything until he died of dehydration.
I would pay for that. A dojin, like, of just, like, there are no more goblins in the world, and then Goblin Slayer's just, like, miserable. And he just, like, sits all day looking at the table.
And he's still wearing his
Armor.
He just
Armor,
makes
and he's just
everyone
like,
around him really uncomfortable.
He's like,
All right.
"Are there any goblins out there?" No.
No. and like all the guild people have like really uncomfortable conversations about taking him to a medieval, you know, psychiatrist.
I just want to say to the viewers who maybe there's some 2 people out there who like Goblin Slayer who are watching this. I want to tell you, there's way better hentai out there. Way better hentai. You ever watch Queen's Blade or Sekon no Quasar? That shit is off the rails compared to this. This actually has a fucking story. You want hentai? You want rape? There's plenty of that out there. Right? What is it?
As long as you want your consent.
Rancher, I forget what the fuck his name is, but it's like some really, rapey hentai or whatever.
Okay,
But
you know what? I think this is what we're gonna end it on. I think this is where I just draw the line and say we're done. I'm done.
We'll say this. This is a good line. We approve of your kink and you sexually exploiting your kink with consensual partners in a way that does not harm anyone. But do not try and defend your kink as art.
Yeah, pretty much.
yeah.
All right, folks, I'm out of here.
Thanks for hanging out with us, and remember, lobster antennas, but don't you grab it.
All right, folks, I'm out of here. See ya.
All right, enjoy your